Access destroyed.
Hi to all who are watching and welcome to our new channel, Game On. Well, we hope to be a convene for game enthusiasts, and for me I emphasise on enthusiast to make it clear that I am far from a self-declared game expert. Yes, I played my fair share of games and have my preferred set characteristics, but I have been also kindly forced to acknowledge that this has made me narrow-minded and miss out on some gems. So first up we have Jay, talking to me about Majora's Mask and why I'm missing out with not playing the whole Zelda franchise. Also, try and see if he cracks a smile without. It will be a surprise. Okay, so I'm going to start by declaring that I have never played Zelda. Hateful eyes away. Your time to convince me what I'm missing out on.
Don't know if I can look you in the eyes after you've saying that, but I will try. It's a direct sequel to Legends of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which is one of the greatest games ever, I would say.
So you say. Yeah.
Yes. Starts off about a couple of months after the end of the previous game. No spoilers here. Link, the main protagonist, is wandering through the forest with his trusty steed Epona. Gets horse jacked, would it be? Gets the horse taken off him by a strange fellow in a mask and his two fairies. So he's pursuing these robbers to try and get his horse back. He's also stolen your ocarina.
What's an ocarina?
Ocarina from the first game, it's a little musical instrument like a mouth organ,
Okay,
like
cool,
a pot thing that you play. You actually have to play it in the game as well.
Oh,
it's really
brilliant.
cool.
Okay.
It is really cool. So yeah, he goes after them. Some things happen and he gets transformed even into a little bush shrub-like person. Got a lot of your abilities taken off you. Let me just make this quite clear from the start. This isn't your fairies, happy-go-lucky, skipping through the field sort of game. It's a dark, bleak, unforgiving, and a huge departure from other games in the series. I'm glad I've had the opportunity to play it on the newest hardware. They've really tweaked it brilliantly. The graphics are a bit prettier, the sound's ultimately better. They've also implemented the touchscreen so you can not have to keep pausing and selecting what you want. Yeah. Just like this one, for example. Here's one we made earlier. So yeah, and in my mind on the 3DS is the definitive way of playing this masterpiece. This game has taken me about 15 years to appreciate it.
Okay, and why would you say it's taken that long? 15 years?
Because when I originally played it on the Nintendo 64, the whole game mechanic is around time and shifting of time.
Okay.
I'll touch on it a bit more, but basically it's quite a stressful game. If you can't manage your time now, then I don't know if this is the game for you. Okay?
Right.
It's a sort of Groundhog Day. The game exists in a 3-day cycle, which roughly translates to about an hour of game time.
An hour of game time?
Yeah.
Right.
So, in these 3 days,
Yeah.
you've got a relatively small map for a Zelda game, and there's lots of characters dotted around. The time shifting aspect plays a massive part in it because it creates another dimension to the game. It's not about who you talk to, it's also about when you talk to them and who you are when you talk to them.
Oh, really? Well, you may have ticked a little box for me there. Okay,
Exactly.
all right.
Yeah, because there's loads of these characters, there's 20, 30 characters in Termina, and you have to go and visit them on certain times and certain days, stop certain things from happening to them, bring them things. And like I say, the mechanic of time just gives it a whole new dimension because all of these people are completely unaware that at the end of this third day, they will all die. Everybody dies. There's a constant moon coming down throughout the 3-day cycle, and on the end of the last day, the moon crashes into the earth and everybody dies. But you don't. You go back to the start of the first day, like Groundhog Day.
Okay.
There's 24 masks in this game that you've got to collect as well. Each mask transforms Link into a different person. Now, time shifting.
Time shifting. Okay, go on.
So soon after the beginning of the game, you're given the opportunity to shift time in various ways.
Okay.
So at the end of the third day, time automatically reverts back to the first day. Everyone's dead except for you. Nobody knows that they're going to die, blah, 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 blah. You can reset back to the start of the first day whenever you want. It's one of those games where I could spend half an hour explaining it to you, boring you to tears, when you could just hold the game in your hands, play it, and almost understand it pretty much straight away.
Are you offering?
I'm offering.
You're offering?
I'm offering.
Now again. Okay. Okay. Okay, what we'll do first, I have no idea what I'm doing.
You're doing nothing on my
way.
save game. If you want to experience it, you can play on your own save game.
Okay, and just to repeat, so with the constant ability to go back and forth in time, you said that it can be crucial to when you speak to people.
Yes.
Dependent on time.
Yes.
Can this constantly change?
No.
Then? Ah, right, okay.
The characters and what they do is constant. There's been no game before it, and there's certainly no game after it that does things in this way. It's truly unique.
I'm kind of itching.
Go on.
On your save game?
Yeah, go for it. It's definitely something that you need to play. Explaining it is just too much.
Okay.
But it's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Okay, that started with a death.
Oh, I regret giving you that, but there we go.
I'm in an icy dungeon.
You are
God,
indeed.
it looks very pretty.
But
again, I think with how pretty it looks is why I've always expected it to be a very light-hearted kind of game. Do you know what I mean? Like,
to be fair, Zelda games tend to be quite light-hearted. This
Right.
certainly isn't. This is a bleak, depressing game where people are dying
Jeez.
a lot.
So, okay, with all the love you have for this game, whilst I poorly fight, can you think of a flaw?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Let's be honest. Okay.
It's worth saying that this game is still it's firmly in the old school style of games. There's no hand holding. You don't get a nice tutorial saying this button does kick, this button does, there isn't any kicking, this button does, your sword, and another button, does this, that and the other. It does throw you in at the deep end. Okay. And it also assumes familiarity in the series as well. It's a plus for me, but your mileage may vary. Seasoned Zelda players will see their attention drawn to unlit torches and chests that are just out of reach. But inexperienced Zelda players might be stumped and find themselves wandering around the same dungeon over and over again trying to find a way out. But
you don't say.
You haven't got time for that. You have not got time for wandering around the dungeon. You need to be in and out. You've got 3 days and the world ends.
Gosh, right, okay. So the whole thing is on a time schedule. Oh, right. Is that what this little thing down here is?
That's
the time.
That's him.
I see. I'm quite surprised that I haven't handed it back to you yet, I won't lie. I've never been one who was thought I was interested in handhelds. But by Jove, this is working quite a treat.
You can lose hours and days.
I know. And eye contact, apparently.
Yes.
Sorry.
Hi.
Whoops. Let me put that on pause and you can carry on mastering the game.
No problem. But yeah, it's just highly, highly recommended. It's as fresh an experience today as it was 15 years ago. It is quite a depressing game, but in a good way.
Oh, you clearly love it. And,
I do, I really do.
Okay, kudos to you. Very well done argument. I think I should give it a go.
Yeah, well, you said sell it, I've sold it.
Yes, you have. Right now. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Humanoid detected. Detroit.
Dying Light, so named because if there's no light you're likely dying, is Techland's new action survival zombie parkour horror adventure game that follows on from Dead Island. No wait, that's Dead Island 2, the one that Techland aren't making. Anyway, this is Techland's new take on the zombie apocalypse. Everything's gone tits up in Haran, what I assume is a generic pseudo-Middle Eastern holiday destination. And as Kyle Crane, free-running, knife-wielding, zombie-killing tourist extraordinaire, you need to jump in and grab a secret file of a cliched up to the eyeballs, I'm so evil for the sake of it I should really be twirling a mustache villain so that he can't discredit the global relief effort. The game really does have everything you could possibly want. Parkour, zombies, weapon crafting, zombies, super cool powers like being able to jump on your enemies and smush them into the floor, zombies. Oh, and nighttime! If you're anything like me and playing a game with both murderous, flesh-eating psychopaths and darkness might cause you more than a little fright, then keep the defibrillator ready. When the dark rolls in, those zombies dive off the crazy end and I found myself mashing the run button through my keyboard and screaming at the screen before misjudging a ledge and landing in a crumpled heap at the bottom of a cliff I forgot I was careening towards. Overall though, the Dying Light experience is pretty good, with the first person free running backed up by some nice little gameplay mechanics like the crafting and upgrade system, building and using traps, using firearms is almost like signing your own death certificate, and it has a decent multiplayer offering with plenty to do. Unfortunately, the gameplay is let down a little by the ever so flimsy, sometimes laughable storytelling. You actually get more life out of the side missions. At one point, someone dies right in front of you that you've just met, and it seems as if the game wants you to be upset. Sorry, Techland. I just didn't care.
Guessing that's a game you want me to play then, Rob? If you want to come in, you can actually just get an invite. But back to now, the wonderful, ignore this, polite Sarah, who has actually come to talk to me and give me helpful advice. I am better than this. connection's not properly synced. Oh.
Alert. Humanoid detected destroyed.
The genre that I don't play that often. So I do play games. We're talking about RPGs right now, and to help me on this topic, we have the wonderful Sarah. One, I'm actually happy to be here. Okay.
Yeah. Well, basically, I was just going to give a brief overview of why you should be playing JRPGs. Not that there's anything wrong with the Westerns, of course, but you should totally be playing the Japanese ones.
Okay.
Right. Basically, I think the most prominent feature with the JRPG stuff that I've always found personally is they have a really prominent story. Because I think it's due because there's not much character creation.
Yes, I know.
Which is a bit of a downside. But you're given a protagonist, and instead it's like the protagonist's story rather than your story in someone else's shoes. I think that kind of helps move a story along. I think it's easier to write a story around a character than an empty vessel that you're filling with said character with, yeah?
Yeah, very valid point. It's something that I would think as a negative, because I always am very selfish in gaming. I want to put myself in it. Yet hearing it out loud, I can't deny.
Well, there's been some great protagonists and really, really interesting characters. Obviously, if you don't like the character, then it kind of puts a bit of a downer on the game. Or the voice. Yeah, which is quite an important, there's a big prominent thing with that. But I think, as I said, because you're focusing on a character's journey, the stories tend to be a lot more epic, a bit more detailed. I'm kind of generalising here. There's some naff ones too. But generally, everyone that I tend to play has been really, really, really interesting.
Okay.
Obviously, another major difference is your battle systems.
Oh, I think I'm
yes, yeah.
with it. Okay.
It's a lot. Obviously, most RPGs tend to revolve around what's called a turn-based battle system. Yeah. Every character takes a turn. You generally have an attack, a magic, items, that sort of thing. It's a lot more of a strategic approach to a battle.
Yeah.
And you can't escape unless you defeat the.
It puts you into like a combat arena, which I don't think I love, because if I can't handle it, I can't run away.
That's the point. You gotta get up to that point where you can handle it. So they do have the grindy moments where you do have to sort of push it. But I think, I just don't know, it's more satisfying when you sit back and you're like, right, okay, how can I approach this battle? What do I need? What kind of magics are more effective?
I will admit that's a negative on my behalf.
So maybe something that's a bit more positive, the art direction that the JRPGs tend to go for, obviously because they're based in Japan, they're big into their anime.
Yeah.
And some of the RPGs artwork is just absolutely amazing. There's some absolutely beautiful ones.
I won't deny that.
Which is great when you kind of sat back and you strategically play in your battles and you just take a moment, which you can do in JRPGs, and be like, this is really pretty. Let me just take a moment to take in the scenery and. But yeah, I think some of the most stylish designs and stuff I've tend to have played have been in the Japanese section.
Did you have a favourite? You can hit me with one.
I've got to narrow it down to one.
Oh, you can go for a few.
The Persona series, big fans of the Persona series, 3 and 4 especially. I'm repping the T-shirt today just to promote it.
You're good.
Final Fantasies, I love my Final Fantasies as well. Right. Some not so much as others. 8, 7. 10.
8?
Yeah.
7 we hear everything about, but...
No, 8's the underdog, I think, because it came out after 7. There's a lot of hype.
But would Final Fantasy be the one you recommend over Persona? Something like me, would you say?
Ooh. Debatable. No, I'd say Persona. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the story's great, characters are great. Something, if you're really interested in that kind of thing. Battle system's easy to understand.
Okay. Is there anything you can tell me without spoilers? The story of Persona, what would... reel me
in. It's going to sound weird. That's the thing what I like about it.
Okay.
In a small town, you're a new student over in a small town, and someone is murdered. And it just goes crazy from there, basically. It involves travelling into an alternate universe inside the TVs.
Fun. Very fun.
Which, on paper, sounds really weird, but as an actual concept in the game.
Okay, and honestly, any negative gripes about the game you think,
lack of character customization in general, I think, in JRPGs is very strict, very linear. That's what you do, that's your character, that's his class, what he levels up in. Whereas like with your westerns and stuff, you've got more control over that, which I really like. Yeah, maybe sometimes the linear aspect's not great for people, that you follow in a certain path all the time, but I don't mind it, I think it's worth it.
How are the characters in Persona?
Oh, amazing.
Oh,
awesome. Yeah, they are really, it's funny. It's just funny. The whole game is really, really like quite humorous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that's what I wouldn't expect, actually. I was thinking they almost taking themselves so seriously.
Yeah,
it gets corny.
It's a dark aspect with a cheesy, like a bit of a funny overtone, so
it's a definite try.
definitely.
Rob.
Hey!
It's a good job you did that.
Is it Rob?
Yeah, do you want me to say hello?
Yeah, go on.
Hi, Rob.
Now that I've explained to you the upsides of JRPGs, you're going to explain to me why Jenga's so good?
Oh, of course I can. 3 wooden blocks in a row.
Wait, is the block creation? I want to customise my blocks.
You can. You see here? I made this indent. I chose this kind of eye. Very linear story, to be fair. I mean, it's just 3 go on top. We can build up or we can take away.
See, art style's not really my
In
thing.
fact, linear is wrong. You can create your own path.
Alert. Human eye detected. Human eye detected. Destroyed.
So, gaming as an adult. I've been playing video games for about 30 years now. I've seen the industry transform from beardy spods in the bedroom making games to the multi-million-pound industry we have now. As I'm still in touch with my inner child, I wanted to talk to you about not how this was all green fields back when I was a lad, but more about the ways that adult gamers have had to adapt, or not, to still enjoy their hobby. Back in the day, before age ratings were mandatory on game boxes, I used to find myself on the bus on the way home with my new purchase, hiding a particularly risque front cover for fear of people thinking that I'm some razzle reading pornaholic. But nowadays, I feel the same when I'm sitting on the back of the bus playing on my 3DS, especially games like Mario or Zelda or anything brightly coloured. Would it be any different if I was shooting people on Call of Duty on a PSP? Maybe, maybe not. So gamers of a certain age have got some sort of expectation that they perhaps should be playing the more adult-themed games, the Call of Duties, the Grand Theft Autos and the Far Cries. But the irony is, if you've ever had the misfortune to plug a headset in and play any of those games online, you'll probably see that the target audience is quite different. A barrage of high-pitched, unbroken voices screaming obscenities, talking about what they want to do to my mum and where a derogatory term for sexual orientation is used as the main adjective, will soon have you reaching for the mute button. And heaven forbid if you're a female gamer, some of the abuse that I've heard from female friends about when gaming online is quite frankly frightening. So what's happened? Is there more of them, or are they just louder? Are game publishers actively making games that appeal to this younger crowd, knowing that breasts and blood will sell? Or is it a fact that age restrictions nowadays don't mean that much, and if little Timmy wants a certain game for Christmas, little Timmy's going to get it? The only thing that I will say is, like my choice of books that I read, films that I watch, or music that I listen to, my choice of video games is entirely that, my choice. Maybe age has turned me into the sort of sandals and sock wearing curmudgeon who doesn't care about what people think of him. But I don't know. Ultimately, I'd much rather be playing what I enjoy, and if that's being seen as the weird, quiet guy on the back of the bus catching Pokemon, I prefer that over screaming homophobic obscenities down a microphone at a load of 12-year-olds while shooting generic zombies, aliens, soldiers in the same brown, gritty backdrop. When you've been playing video games from before they were fashionable, I think it's easier to find enjoyment in things that are fun rather than just playing things that are supposed to be cool.
Oh, sweet. Whilst we can all appreciate Pokemon, God bless its little soul, especially for Jay, let's talk about more beautiful, bigger and badder things, such as Fallout 4. Okay, so is everyone ready to talk about the possibility of Fallout 4?
Oh, yes. High five, people. High five.
I feel sorry for you.
Yes.
Is that even heartfelt? Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Not from you first then. Anyone else?
I'm ecstatic. I think of any game I wanted to be announced, it would be Fallout 4.
agree.
I mean, oh, you do? Obviously,
I can actually like a game.
obviously we're only guessing, but like the thing is, Bethesda, if I've pronounced that right, they've just announced at E3 they're going to hold their own press conference, which they've never ever done before. And there's only one main game everyone's waiting for, so surely it's going to be Fallout 4, right?
You would think so.
What I'm actually afraid of is them going Elder Scrolls Online route and going Fallout Online. If not for the fact that its acronym would be FOO. But we've seen that Elder Scrolls Online didn't work really.
That's a possibility, actually, isn't it? But would they hold a whole press conference just for that?
I don't see how the VAT system would work though. Online, that just would be rubbish.
No, well,
And you'd have like, you are the lone wanderer from Vault 101, as well as these other millions of people across the landscape.
But what else could it be if it isn't?
Anything to do with Elder Scrolls?
I mean, they might announce more than one game. I
actually quite enjoyed Dishonored, so
Yeah,
I
it was-
wouldn't mind a sequel.
I really like Dishonored. It's a brilliant game.
I quite enjoyed it. Just
Yeah.
the whole sort of first-person Assassin's Creed experience is quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
definitely. Cool.
I think like it's got to be Fallout 4 though, because like that's a game that's going to sell like 12 million copies,
Can
isn't
you
it?
imagine that next gen, how big that open world's going to be? The possibilities.
So what do you want from a new Fallout game?
I wouldn't think of I wouldn't want something too different actually, to be fair. I'm just trying to think of the story where I'd want them to go. I'd rather them go back to, even though I know it's very similar, back to something similar to Fallout 3 as opposed to Vegas.
Yeah.
I agree.
I kind of like the bleakness of 3. I think Vegas was too there's too much. I know it sounds weird. There was too much in the landscape. When it was a sense of coming out of the vault and being like, right, okay, there's nothing.
I can hardly contain myself. What I'm really looking forward to is about 18 months after its release, buying it for a tenner on Steam and never playing it.
It's adding to your massive long list.
Yep,
Like so many
I just
games on
cannot
Steam.
wait. Yeah, I just cannot wait to buy it for cheap and never play it. Or maybe create my character, collect a couple of bottle tops and think, I'll come back to it another day.
You know what if they did a really horrible thing like Destiny, which is like Halo, and they tried to make it an MMO, which I know you're a big fan of Destiny, but I got bored of it really quickly. What if they did that to Fallout 4?
I would not be happy. I wouldn't be happy at all.
I don't think it'll work.
No, I don't.
But to be fair, you all sound like you want exactly the same game that you've had before. But yeah, if you do
The stuff that it's already got.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what Japan would think of having the full game experience, because they missed out on having the choice to blow up Megaton.
Did they?
Yep, it was taken out of the Japanese version.
No, because it's a nuclear weapon. Very special game. I think when you ask people, right, what do you want from the next Fallout? The reason why Jay thinks we want the same game is because there's no way we could come up with something better than what Bethesda can give us from their full AAA releases,
I think they've been doing some mapping of some areas. I can't for the life
Boston.
of me. I think it's Boston, yeah.
Massachusetts.
They
yeah.
have been mapping the kind of areas of Boston and stuff to kind of work.
I'd
with,
love
so.
if that was a rumour. Imagine if it was set in the UK. Oh, it'd be amazing. Yeah, Boston just up the road.
British
Yeah.
Raiders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gav, can you hand me those bottle tops?
Sorry, I'm just getting blasted. I'm not Australian.
Well, one can hope. Yeah, nice one. One can hope, but okay, I'm going to cut you off now. But we will, as a majority, agree that we want a Fallout 4. Okay, and so we're at the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed. Still hoping I didn't make too much of a fool out of myself. Not sure. Feel free to subscribe, follow us at OnGame Twitter. Leave comments or hit us up there and let us know if there's any other suggestions you want to make to me, because it seems that that's what everyone wants to do in this show. And if you didn't again, the same rules apply. Let us know and hopefully see you next time.
Alert. Humanoid detected. Decoy. Humanoid decoy. Humanoid detected.